viewers, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our third episode of our livecast, Secrets of the Soul, Soul and Quantum Science. Thank you so much for joining us here. My name is Thiru, and together hosting this livecast is Vivi. Hi Vivi. Now we are in our third session, and I'm curious to know what is your take on this subject, Secrets of the Soul?
Hi, Thiru. Well, as a seeker myself, I've not stopped learning. And as our journey continues here, we need to make the best of the time we have here to evolve. Not just externally, but internally too. When we approach any subject with the aim of learning, we first start with what is it, and go on to develop our understanding on the subject matter itself. Same goes with the subject of the soul. And like what Somakumar has previously mentioned, we are mere mechanical contraptions until we have embarked on our own individual soul search journey.
Yes, Vivi, you are right. I echo your thoughts as well. You will be glad to know that the multitude of viewers across the globe tuning in to catch these series are a reflection of more and more people wanting to seek answers about the soul, its mysteries, and for some, the scientific studies around it. Our sincere thanks to all the viewers for your time and interest in this show. Now over to you, Vivi.
Thank you, Thiru. As I hand over our virtual stage to our esteemed speaker, I would like to give a brief summary on his portfolio. Somakumar is a Chennai-based industrialist, entrepreneur, engineer, and author. He brings with him his wealth of experience of over 35 years of heartfulness trainings, having conducted them worldwide. I'm sure this is going to be yet another eye-opening session on secrets of the soul, focusing on soul and quantum science for today. Welcome to the show, Somakumar.
Hello, Vivi and Thiru. I am equally excited to be here again to share some insights on soul to all of you, especially focusing on the aspect of soul and quantum science. Quantum science and material science, quantum physics and classical physics. These are the two divisions of the science which we are going to deal with now. Classical physics is actually dealing with the external world. Quantum science, quantum physics is dealing with the inner world. And I would like to start the session with a quotation, with a quote from one of the most famous and greatest scientists who have ever walked on this planet, Albert Einstein. Everyone, the quote goes like this, everyone who is seriously interested in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that a spirit is manifest in the laws of the universe. A spirit vastly superior to man, and one in the face of which our modest powers must seem humble. These are the words of the most famous scientist, spiritual scientist, Albert Einstein. Classical physics actually defines multiplicity and diversity of creation. Quantum science, quantum physics scientifically proves that everything is one. It defines the unity of creation. Standard physics covers the biggest things, the finite systems in the universe, which are bigger than the subatomic particles. Quantum theory covers the smallest particles, like subatomic particles. Spiritualists think about infinity. Scientists think about finality, finite systems. Quantum science defines that every finite system in the world is actually supported by infinity behind it, below it. For example, in a human body, there are 50 to 100 trillion cells. In every cell, there are millions of atoms. In every atom, there are millions of subatomic particles. And it goes on like that. So even in a human body, it is supported by infinity. When all these things are counted, all these numbers are counted, it is actually going to infinity. So it is even in a human body, which is a finite system with boundary conditions, it is supported by infinity. And from ages, we are trying to find out which is the entity which is actually creating this universe and maintaining it. We have been in search of that particular power, that entity. We call it God, omniscient, omnipotent, ultimate. So many words are there. And the one definition is the God, the ultimate, is actually inside everything and outside everything. And everything is inside it. In anything that is in creation, this ultimate is inside it. And anything that is existing in creation is actually existing in the ultimate. Quantum theory agrees with this definition of God. And it proclaims that everything in the universe is covered by space. Everything in the universe is actually covered by space, inside also, outside also. For example, the space is there in between galaxies, in between stars, in between continents, in between human bodies, in between cells in a human body. So everywhere the space is there. The space covers the definition of God actually. It is there everywhere. There is nothing is left in the whole universe without space existing inside and outside. So actually the God or the absolute or the omniscient, it is only space according to quantum science. Even in the structure of an atom, if you take a structure of an atom, 99.999% is space inside that. Only 0.0001% is the matter content in the structure of an atom itself. But then the whole world, this whole universe is structured with atoms. So what does it mean? In the whole universe, 99.99% is only space. Only this 0.001% is the matter that we see. And see the anomaly of our existence. And we are focused our whole attention on this 0.0001% of reality. Whereas our attention would have been actually on the space, which is the reality, which is 99.99% of reality. So we should have given our attention on space rather than giving our attention on the matter, which is only minuscule of the total mass of universe. If space is connecting everything, and if space is maintaining everything, and if space is the source, it cannot be empty. Earlier it was thought that the space is a vacuum, there is nothing there, it's empty. But it cannot be like that with this definition, when space is maintaining everything, when space is creating everything, how can we say that it is empty? It is filled to the brim, infinitely filled. It is very dense, very, very dense. It is filled with energy. And actually research was going on from so many centuries to find out what is the building material, what is the construction material which is used by the ultimate to create the universe. What is the building block? They were searching for the particle, God's particle, continuously. So earlier when they found out molecules, the existence of molecules, they thought that, yes, I found out the building material of God. Molecule is the smallest thing possible. But then subsequently atoms were found out. When the atom was found out, they thought this must be the building block of God. Then again, subatomic particles they found out, protons, neutrons, and electrons. And then they thought, that must be the smallest particle in the universe. Then quarks came in now. And what they do is they split atoms, they split these subatomic particles to find out the smallest one. In the Hadron Collider, particle separator and all they use. And they go on making more and more particle separators, more and more. And they finally the scientists, they found out that this is an infinite approach. This is an infinite path. If they find out some small particles today, tomorrow something else crops up, smaller than that. So then they decide that this will not take us anywhere. It's going on infinitely. So they decided to change the pattern of finding out the building material, or to find out what method the universe, what method the space is using to create the universe. They actually tried to land upon the principle behind it. Then what they did was they realized that it is the space which is creating it. It is the space which is maintaining it, which means a portion of space is used for this purpose. So they started finding out, which is the smallest space, smallest distance in space, which is being utilized by the space itself. And they decided to measure the distance inside a proton, the smallest particle, to their knowledge. What is the distance between one end of the proton to the other end? They started finding out that, and they came to a kind of understanding, and it was actually 1.616 into 10 to the power of minus 33. That is the distance covered inside a proton. You can imagine how small it is. This 1.616 is a constant which they use. They arrive at by certain scientific methods. So 1.616 into 10 to the power of minus 33 is the smallest. They took it like that. This is the smallest distance or smallest piece of space which is used as a building block for the construction of the entire creation. Then they gave a name also to that, Planck distance. It is called Planck distance. Now after that, what they did was they calculated how many Planck distances can be contained in a 1 centimeter cube. 1 centimeter cube, because they wanted to measure the density. So when you fill up the 1 centimeter cube of space with this Planck distance, which is the smallest piece of space, they found out a number, and that was 10 to the power of 93 grams per centimeter cube. 10 to the power of 93 grams per centimeter cube. That is actually the vacuum density or the density of the space. They found out that so much energy is there in space that in 1 centimeter cube, the density becomes 10 to the power of 93 grams per centimeter cube. So then what they did was they had calculations done, and they took everything in the universe, the galaxies, the stars, the continents, everything that is existing in the universe. They got some measures to find out the mass of these things, and they actually the imagination was they filled up all these things that are there in creation into 1 centimeter cube to find out the density of the material world, how much it is, and it came only to 10 to the power of 55 grams per centimeter cube. So the density of the universe, of matter, of creation, that is only 10 to the power of 55 grams per centimeter cube. But 1 centimeter cube of space has got 10 to the power of 93 grams per centimeter cube, which means the whole universe is created by 1 centimeter cube of space only. The remaining is actually free. 1 centimeter cube of space actually is more than the power required, the energy required to create the universe. So it was a very fascinating invention that they found out. Then they understood the power that is around us, the space. Everything has come from that space only. The whole universe has come from that space only, and only 1 centimeter cube of that space is utilized for the creation of the entire universe. Then there was another study which is done by Max Planck Institute. They found out that 1 cubic meter of space contains so much energy which can actually evaporate all the oceans on the surface of Earth. Just 1 meter cube of energy can evaporate all the oceans on the surface of Earth. That much energy is there around us. So space is full of energy density. This is actually the source of reality. Our material reality of the world is only a very small, minuscule division or part of the entire space, infinite space which is surrounding us. And we are also a part of it. We are living in this space, but we are not aware of it. We are living in this space, and we are deriving energy also from this space, but we are not actually aware of this much energy which is surrounding us. And we are in search of energy without knowing from where we can get it. The reason is our attention is actually on this point, not 1% of illusion. We are actually looking only at that, and naturally you don't know anything that is existing beyond it. So we are actually we are missing the energy which is surrounding us, which can be utilized in a big way for anything that they want to utilize it. So then when we construct a house on the surface of the Earth, what we do is, again, we are actually enclosing a space inside with walls, and there is a space existing outside also. So we think that, we have a space, we have constructed a room or a house, but actually what is happening is inside and outside there's only space there. And that is how we own things on the surface of the earth. But really speaking, we are living inside the space. Even though we are constructing houses and we are living inside, we are living inside the space. Space is inside us, space is outside us. That is how we live. So this is actually in the outer world. In the outer world, we construct houses, we create things, and things are created by nature also with the same concept of energy and space surrounding and keeping inside also. So similarly, what happens is inside, in our inner world, a piece of space is taken and we created a house using impressions. Because in the outer world, you have got matter. In the inner world, there is no matter there. In the inner world, there is only energy. There is only energy and information which is there in our inner world, in our inner existence itself. So what we used is, we used impressions and created a wall kind of thing around a small piece of space. And because that is part of the main space, which has got all the capacity of creation, which has got all the capacity of maintaining whatever it is created, this small bit of space which is enclosed by us in our inner world with the walls of impressions, what happens is that has got all the powers of the bigger space, even though it is in a limited ability. So that is actually the soul. The soul is actually a part of the space, a piece, a small, very small chip of space, which is enclosed by us with impressions. Impression is actually, that also is energy only. So what happens is, the space which is there outside us, which is the ultimate, which is absolute, which is God, its vibration is very, very high. It is the subtlest, purest vibration which has come from the source itself. But what happens is, when we enclose it inside, we cover that with grosser vibrations of our emotions, of our feelings, and they become impressions around this beautiful, this purified chip of the original space, and we enclose it there. So when you remove these impressions of grosser feelings and grosser impressions, what happens is, the soul is getting free. It is released. When it is released, it joins with the main space. So this is actually the fundamental principle of spiritual systems. When we remove the impressions around, the soul, which is the purest one, which is part of God, is released, and it joins, it merges with the main space. So that is how the thing is created, the whole thing is created. Now let us find out how the space is acting. What is the methodology that is used by space to create and maintain the universe? They say that the whole space is filled with energy, I told you. The whole space is filled with electromagnetic energy. It's all electromagnetic energy. And in a potential state, there's no matter there, there's nothing there. Electromagnetic energy is there with all the potentiality with it. It has got all the potentiality, it has got all the information, it has got all the consciousness, it has got all the intelligence, and the fundamental nature of this electromagnetic field is oneness and love. So love, consciousness, intelligence, information, energy, everything is coming from this field only. And we are actually sharing a bit of it, a chip of it, and maintaining our life, creating our life, living our life. This is how we actually deal with the material life, with our life. So, and then how we are handling it, how this energy is helping us. When we are born, around us, there is an electromagnetic energy stock. It is actually, when we take birth, we are sent here with a package of energy along with us. It is actually surrounding our physical body. There is an electromagnetic energy field which supplies energy for our day-to-day life. That's how it is created. And what happens is, there are energy chakras inside, static equilibrium of energy is there inside in various points. And these various chakras are actually representing the different kind of vibrations which are utilized for different kind of work and conditions in our existence in the universe, in the world. So there are 3 lower chakras, energy centers in our body. These 3 lower chakras are actually the energy there is used for our day-to-day existence. And for that purpose, these three chakras actually derive the energy from the energy which is surrounding us, the electromagnetic energy which is given to us at the time of birth. So what happens is, if these three chakras, the three lower chakras, if we indulge in our day-to-day activities in the world, what happens is it actually pulls more energy from the surrounding energy that is kept in our body, and we become weak, we become dormant, and we become sick. When this stock of energy is slowly vanishing by our indulgence in the worldly activities, using these three chakras, then the energy is gone and we become totally debilitated, we become dormant, we become weak, we become sick. On the contrary, if we use only limited part of this energy, and if we enhance our energy stock by raising ourselves up to the higher chakras that are actually inviting energy inside, that takes the energy from the space and supplements us with the energy, and we become strong, we become healthy, we become balanced mentally, physically, and all. So it is actually this energy field which is called quantum field. The energy in the space is actually called quantum energy, quantum field, unified energy, unified field. There are so many names to this particular field. So actually what is happening is, it is this field which is governing the whole universe, which is creating the whole universe. We are all part of that. So and here the only problem is that as human beings, in the structure itself, in the nature itself, we have been given with free will. So this free will, what happens is, with the chip of the space which is inside us as soul, it has got a capacity to create in a limited sense. The bigger space actually constructs everything, creates everything, maintains everything. The smaller chip can also do the same thing, but in a limited level. So that is what we do. We actually create this universe for us. The material world is created by us. And that is how, of course, it is going on like that. So then what happens is, when you are actually the magnetic and electric part of our system is, when we have an intention, when we think about something, it is electrical energy. When you have a feeling, an emotion, that is the magnetic part in our system. So when we have these two combined, the electrical part of it with this intention of thinking, and the emotional part is feeling, we have our electromagnetic signature in us, which is actually our condition. So when we have really good feelings, when we have really good thoughts with energetic attention onto it, our electromagnetic signature is great. Then when our electromagnetic signature is great, we can near the vibration part of the main space. We will get a matching on that vibration when our emotion and thoughts are really great. So actually what happens is, when we want to get a connection with the field, with the electromagnetic field which is there in the field, what happens is, it has got immense potential. It has got infinite information. It has got everything. If we can get an access to that field by some means, then we are successful in everything, and we are nearing our destination. And for that, what we have to do is the practice. When we meditate, what happens is, we are actually raising our vibratory level, and slowly we are getting into a matching vibration of the infinite field. The idea is, when our vibration is matching with the vibration of the infinite field, whatever we want by that process, the potentiality which is there in the field will come in search of you. It will come to you. When you can match the vibration of the field can come to you. But when we are not matching it, the field will not come. It doesn't know what is happening to us. So that is how it works. So all frequency actually carries information. So any frequency that we are creating, it actually carries information. And in our system, there is a gland, pineal gland, which is there on the back of head, and the heart. Heart is actually our connection to the infinite field, because the only organ which is creating electromagnetic field in our system is the heart. The maximum vibration of electromagnetic energy created in our system is through the heart. So through the heart only we can get a connection to the infinite field, the quantum field. And there what happens is when we meditate or when we are having elevated emotions, like good emotions of love, compassion, sympathy, inspiration, all these elevated emotions actually will raise your consciousness and it goes up, and there is a gland called pineal gland at the back of our head. The pineal gland, it's a very small gland, but it has got a very peculiar thing called, there are certain substances, certain materials. If you press that material, the mechanical energy will be converted into electrical energy in certain substances. If you give a pressure to the particular substance, that converts the mechanical pressure into electrical energy, which is called Piezoelectric Effect. The name is Piezoelectric Effect. This pineal gland has got a small calcite crystal in it, and it is the size of a rice grain, this crystal. What happens is when the emotions are good, you can feel that something is moving up in your system. It can come to the throat and it will even go to the head. This spinal fluid again, it goes up and it presses this pineal gland, and when this pineal gland is pressed, there is electrical charge there, and when the electrical charge is produced, the pineal gland will become like an antenna, and this antenna will have a connection to the field, the quantum field. When you have a connection to the quantum field, whatever information is there, whatever energy is there, whatever consciousness is there, this gland can draw that and put it in your system. That is how we actually progress spiritually. When we become more and more spiritual, we get a connection to the quantum field, and that enhances our life. That actually brings happiness to our life. It can actually produce chemicals also in our system, melatonin and all, which is the happiness producing this thing. It is produced with the connection that we establish with the quantum field. And everything in the universe, everything that is known in the universe is actually light and information. What we see, what actually coming to the earthly plane is light and information, or consciousness and energy. So it's only vibration that is there in the outer world, and it is getting converted into matter by our observation. And if you study the electrons and the atom and all, electrons till this time, till the advent of quantum science, it was believed that electron is a particle. Now the whole science has changed. It is no more a particle. It is a matter as well as a wave. So what happens is, when you split an atom, like you peel off onion, what happens is when you go inside the atom, there are electron clouds. There are only clouds there. There is no particle. There is no electron as it is. But it pops up somewhere suddenly. You will not know where it is going to pop up. You will not know when it is going to disappear. This is how the electrons are there. Electron cloud, they say. And they pop up when you observe it. This is a beautiful invention in science now. The whole thing is coming as matter by your observation only. Which means the thing is, the entire space that we see as even external world is filled with energy, which is only vibration. There is no matter there. It's like a cloud. And whenever you give your attention onto anything, that becomes a matter there. Because your attention also is energy, which is grosser than the energy field which is there from the quantum field. So the subtler thing is actually made grosser by our observation. And in this process, we create the world, which we see. Otherwise, there is only the vibration. There's nothing else there. And again, it's all light and energy. There are many kind of light frequencies existing in the field, in the quantum field. But what we see as visible light is only 1% of the total range of lights available in the universe, which means we are seeing only 1% of reality, again, like the other thing, the material thing. Only 1% of the reality we are seeing, because the visible light is only 1% of that. And again, when anything which can travel beyond the speed of light, it becomes energy. Albert Einstein's famous equation, E is equal to mc square. So anything that travels more than the speed of light, it becomes energy. Any energy which is coming down and it comes within the frame of the light speed, it becomes matter. So matter is nothing else but frozen energy. So see the world, how it is constructed and how it is maintained. It is all energy and speed. And when the speed is reduced too much, it becomes matter. When the speed is increased, it becomes energy. And so what happens is there are only a few things. 3 states are available here. One is matter, the other is energy, third is no energy, which is absolute. There is no energy also there, nothing is there, there's only stillness, nothingness. From that nothingness and stillness, energy comes first, and from energy, matter comes first, and the universe is created. So this is the sequence by which the whole thing exists. And now the beauty of it is, in the external world, in classical physics, it is a range, it is a state where you have infinite space and limited time, linear time. Here time is linear in the external world. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, like that, it goes linear. The previous moment, the present moment, and the coming moment. So time, according to us, is going in a linear fashion. But in the quantum world, it is just the opposite. It is infinite time and limited space. There is no past and future. In the quantum field, time is existing always, which means it is infinite time. That is the structure there. In the subatomic world, it's existing always. Time is existing always. It's not linear. That is the beauty of that. Then there are so many other things that scientists have found out about this quantum field. There is something called quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement means, what they found out is, if they did an experiment, they cut open a proton, and one piece of it was kept here, another piece was kept 7 miles away from this place. If you do anything to this piece, the other piece will react, even if it is 7 miles away, which is called quantum entanglement. And the meaning is, actually everything in the universe, it has come from one central source at the time of Big Bang. So the theory, the science behind it is, what they say is, if two subatomic particles are kept together at one time, if they release it, even if one is at the end of the universe, they will still have a connection. They will still have a connection, even if it is kept at the end of the universe. One piece is kept at the end of the universe, one piece is kept here, which is called quantum entanglement. So subatomic world is like that. The atoms in our system is actually connected in the whole universe. But our physical body is separate. Why? The reason is, we are actually seeing this external world through our senses. When we see the world with senses, it gives you separation. It gives you the feeling of separation. Eye is seeing something, ear is hearing something from the other side. So the feeling of separation is created because we experience this world through senses. Whereas in the inner world, there are no senses, there are no sense organs in the inner world. We experience the world through consciousness. And we experience the world of energy, the world of vibration, the world of waves, which is inner world. And that is one single unit. So when you look into the inner world with consciousness, you can see only unity. When you look around the world with your organs, sense organs, you feel separation. So actually, it is like this. The classical physics is, the classical world is actually the objective world, where objects are there. Objects are created by our energy, our observation, and that is called objective world. Whereas the inner world, quantum world, is subjective. So when you want to give some information, some signal to the quantum field for your achievement, I want this, I want that. If you want to ask the quantum field, quantum energy field, if you say that, at least, by another 2 years, I must become this, it will not understand, because there is no future there. If you tell something about the past also, it will not understand. If you want to get something from the field, you must think that it is already there with you in the present. If you think really with that kind of a feeling, that kind of a conviction, I am rich now, the field is actually giving you that. That language it understands, the language of the present. But if you think otherwise, if you travel in time this way, that way and all, it will not understand. It will not be able to give you also that. So this particular phenomenon of quantum entanglement, even biologically they have tested. They have taken, one cell from a human body, from a person's body, and kept it 7 miles away, and this person was sitting in a room and a TV program is shown to him. And when there are horror scenes coming, the cell will react 7 miles away, kept 7 miles away. So all the cells in our body are connected like that, connected by the quantum field. So the beauty is actually the subatomic particles, they suddenly disappear and suddenly pop up. We don't know, and even now scientists don't know where they go. They go just and appear when you try to focus on something. Then it pops up and it appears before you. So these are the fantastic experiences you get when you go into the quantum field, quantum world. And when you meditate, again, when you meditate, what happens is you are actually going out of this illusionary world, you are going out of your sensory organs, and you are into this quantum field through consciousness. You are searching the quantum field when you meditate. You are into the world of energy, into the world of vibration, into the world of lights. And that is the real world. That is the reality. 99.99% is inside you. And that is where we are supposed to go to find out our reality. That is where we have to go for finding out happiness in life. Because happiness comes, again, only when the mind is settled, happiness is there. Whatever things you do, it will not give you happiness unless the mind is settled on something. If it is a single thought, it will help you to give happiness to you. And this single thought, settling the mind, happens only when you meditate, only when you go into the inner world, because there is only oneness there. There are no multiplicity there in the inner world. There is only feeling. And you are actually nearing and nearing the oneness part of the quantum field when you meditate. So this is the advantage for us to be happy. We must go inside by meditation and reach that oneness, settledness of the mind. I think with this we stop the talk. You can.
Thank you, Somakumar. That was some incredible revelation. I especially felt close to the topic when you spoke about energy and the quantum, and we were filled with electromagnetic energy field, which supplies energy for us, for our daily activities. But we indulge in the worldly pleasures and we create impressions in our inner world. The physical universe that we live in is only our perception, and there's infinite energy beyond. That is really something that we should reflect on. And once we remove the impressions, then we will be filled with all love and all the good stuff. So I think we only can achieve this now to remove our gross impressions is to get the energy and vibration is through meditation. So that's the answer.
True.
Thank you. So now let's dive straight in the Q&A session, where we have selected some questions from our viewers prior to the show. Somakumar, please, can you explain how dreams manifest when we are asleep?
Actually, the impressions which are formed around the soul by, again, our actions, by sense organs, when we see something, when we hear something, when we touch something, all these experiences are actually acquired or accrued around the soul by way of impressions. But the soul, being the purest one, belonging to the original space, the bigger space, it always tries to purify itself. It always throws away these impressions, and wants to be released, want to be free, want to be purified. So that process happens only when you stop putting things inside. During daytime, we are always playing with our sense organs. You are seeing something, hearing something, touching something, smelling something. So all these things are loaded. All these activities, experiences are being loaded onto the soul, which is trying to evade that, is trying to push it away, but it doesn't get time during daytime. When you sleep, it gets a leisure time. It gets a gap for its activity to throw away all these things out. It doesn't want it with it. So that throwing away of the impressions is actually coming in the form of dreams. Dreams are that.
Could they also be?
It's an evacuation process conducted by the soul.
Okay. Could they also be messages from our guides or some way of showing us the future, or is it just a fantasy?
It is not a fantasy. Guides can work through dreams because they also try to use this channel for giving us their advices, their guidance, because during daytime, again, we are busy with our sense organs. So even if the guides are trying to give us some advice, some information, we will not be listening to it. We are not free during daytime. But in the sleep, when we are free, we don't have any resistance against the advices that are given by the guides, and they utilize that time for our advantage and for their advantage. But it's not a fantasy.
Can you please elaborate?
It is a fantasy only when we see fantasy dreams. Sometimes what happens is the impression that we create can be out of fantasy also. We imagine so many fantasy incidents, events and aspirations during daytime. They go as impressions around the soul. So when they go out, it will be fantasy dreams like that. So it's evacuation which is happening there, and it can be the advices given by the guides also when they utilize this time.
Thank you.
Are dreams also a form of astral travel? We have read about the famous Lobsang Rampa and astral body travel. Could you shed some light on this phenomena, explaining how this happens?
Dreams are not astral travel. Dreams are, as I explained in the beginning, this is actually evacuation by the soul of unwanted things. And astral travel is actually, we have a physical body which is actually enjoying the external world. We have a subtle body also inside us. That actually represents the space angle. The invisible energy body, vibration body is our subtle body. And the energy body, when you meditate and all, it expands. When it is expanding, you gain the ability to project that subtle body anywhere you want to project. So it will have the form also, it will have the traits also, but it will not be the physical body actually. It is actually projecting your subtle body. When you gain that much power by meditation again, when you purify the subtle body, you gain the power to project it anywhere you want to project it. And again, the beauty is you are able to project it because of the oneness of the space. You are able to get your mobile connection, your TV broadcasting, telecasting, everything because of the oneness of the space. If the space was disjointed, I don't think even all these gadgets will not be able to work. It has the oneness connection all over the universe, and it is happening through space, through electromagnetic waves.
Well explained. The next question. In science fiction, there is this fascinating supernatural or superpower of teleportation, where one can be transported physically across space and distance instantly. Is this phenomenon a part of quantum science, and how does it work?
It is only fiction. This teleporting is coming only in the fiction. It is only fiction. The possibility is only transporting or teleporting the subtle body. That only will work. The physical body cannot be transported like that. But it has got all the physical form. When you transport, when you teleport the subtle body, it has got a form. So the illusion is created that it is the physical body, but actually it is not.
Okay. I've read somewhere that one who has the ability to teleport can also bring another person along with him in this instant travel. Do you have any simple examples to share from experience and research as a heartfulness trainer with regards to teleporting?
If you remember the story that I have told in the first episode, there the same experience is given. The goddess is actually taking the queen also along with her to the village where the Brahmin lived. But there was a condition which was given by the goddess to the queen. You have to remove your unwanted things, your grosser things, again by practice, again by worship, and make yourself pure. then it is possible for you to come out of the physical body and you can come to the other body. And I was explaining about three akashas, three spaces, Chidakasha, Akasha and Chittakasha. I was giving that this thing. So it is actually consciousness, subconsciousness, superconsciousness. Only when you can raise yourself, raise your vibrations to the superconscious level, it is possible for you to travel. So if anybody is doing it, he also will have that super consciousness in him. And if he wants to carry anybody with him, that person also should have that.
What about your personal experience to this, or anyone that you know apart from the goddess in your story?
Yeah, I've heard this kind of this thing from my own guide in Heartfulness. You know, the guides, the masters we call them. They had this ability, and there are stories about it. People who have experienced also their presence, you know, somewhere suddenly they come and they are before you. That experiences I've heard, and to a certain extent I have also enjoyed it. Presence of them suddenly in a totally strange place. That has happened.
Were you shocked?
Yes.
Were you shocked?
No.
With the
shocked and all, but shocked in the sense it was a pleasant surprise. I should say like that.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, the next question. Levitation is a developed ability of power where one can float with the physical body. Can quantum science explain this phenomena, and how does it really work?
You can very easily explain it because you are surrounded by energy, immense energy. You know, 1 centimeter cube of energy space can create a whole universe. So imagine the kind of energy that is surrounding you. In some way, if you can tap that energy by some method, that can lift you, that can make you fly also sometimes. But that much energy is there. I mean, it's a kind of meticulous practice that these people do to tap certain aspects of the energy. But the thing is, actually what we should strive at is to merge with that energy, to merge with that space, to merge with God, to merge with Absolute. That is what we should try. Taking a bit of that energy and showing some kind of a miracles display, what is the use? Finally, your mind is not going to get settled even then. So you are in miserable condition, even with all these shows and all these displays and all, miracles and all, and you are not to gain anything there. On the contrary, when you do such things, your ego will get boosted up. When your ego is boosted up, your mind is never settled. So you are getting far away from the main space, from the Absolute, from God, which is not our aim, destination.
Which means that that's not the right goal for the soul then.
Not at all.
Okay.
That really puts things into perspective, because I think it's all the buzz about having all this kind of special powers and stuff. So sometimes we are focused on the things that actually sparkles instead of the real goal here.
Yes, correct. And actually, you know, in our system, this heartfulness method of meditation, it is stated by our guides that almost all of us who are practicing this kind of meditation, they have this miracle creating powers. But the masters, the guides, they actually suppress that. They don't allow us to display it, except when it is required. There are situations in life where probably sometimes you have to display certain miracles for your own existence. Only at such situations you are allowed to do this even without your knowledge. It happens. You may not even know that it is coming from you, but it happens.
It's very
we are protected from such ego boosting up.
Thank you. What is your view and take on telekinesis and psychokinesis in the context of quantum science?
Again, using the energy potential, and in telekinesis, what they do is they are able to draw objects, physical objects, using their mental power or willpower. Psychokinesis actually is something like telepathy. They can influence somebody else at a distance. They can influence their behavior. That is actually psychokinesis. Both these things are, this ability is developed by again using the subtle energy, electromagnetic energy. So it's again practicing the system, a particular system for developing this kind of a skill. They concentrate on that part of the energy. How can I use this? For example, when electric current is supplied to your home, you can use it for switching on the fan also. You can use it for your iron box also. You can use it for a washing machine also. Energy is the same, but for what purpose you are using it, that depends on your requirement. So the same energy which can be used for your spiritual evolution, which can be used to take you to the destination and make you really happy in the world. Some people have got an interest like this to develop it in a different direction. So they do that.
Okay.
And we are also actually cheated in the sense or fascinated by such displays of illusions. It's again illusion, 0.01%. You are enamored by that rather than watching a yogi, watching a spiritual person giving you real happiness and real purity. You are not interested in that. You are not interested in purity and that kind of happiness. You are interested in displays, illusions. Basically, by nature, man is attracted by illusions and delusions rather than the reality. That's our problem. That's why we don't see the reality when we live in this universe and then see the beauty or see the anomaly of it. You are living inside and outside in the reality, in the space. It is covering you everywhere. Everywhere. Wherever you go, even into the space, wherever you go, you are covered with space only. You are covered with reality only. Inside and outside. But you don't look at it. You are looking at the illusion again, the displays. So that is the problem.
True. Okay, next question. Some traditions and spiritual practices speak about the awakening of the third eye. Is this how the soul perceives the universe or the quantum field? Is this the way prodigies and geniuses like Einstein, Ramanujan, and Tesla access extraordinary knowledge and information?
Yes, this third eye is actually on the backside of our head. And quantum science, it says that it is the pineal gland. Even in spiritual literatures, they are actually mentioning this pineal gland. This pineal gland is actually our antenna to the quantum field, which is full of information, again, intelligence, everything is there. And it works like this, there are certain materials which if you compress it, if you put pressure, mechanical pressure onto that kind of materials, they discharge electric charges, they discharge electricity. The mechanical pressure is used to convert it into electrical charges. So this pineal gland, and it has got a material like that inside, which is called calcite crystal. It's a very small crystal, calcite crystal, which is the size of a rice grain. It is there in the pineal gland. So when you meditate, especially when you focus onto certain things, for example, like Ramanujan and all, when they have a focused mind onto certain things, what happens is the spinal fluid. There is a fluid in the spinal cord, and that spinal cord fluid is actually connecting the vibrations of all these chakras and all. And everywhere the messages are going through the spinal fluid. This fluid actually moves from the navel and goes up. When it goes up with elevated emotions, with the focused attention onto certain things like geniuses, it presses this pineal gland. And there is an electric charge, and which is like an antenna opened up towards the space, the quantum field. And all this and the same charge, same vibration is there in both. And the information is actually given back. That is how extraordinary intelligence and things like that come in our life by this process. This is the explanation of the quantum science. In the spiritual literature, we say that the consciousness is evolving by practice from the normal consciousness, from the subconscious level. The person reaches the superconscious level. The same thing. Superconscious level means the vibration is has reached the vibration of the electromagnetic field, the quantum field. When the vibrations match, the information is transformed. It's actually transferred, not transformed. It's transferred. So it's a question of matching the vibration by practice. But all these things are actually possible by meditation, even for a normal person. In people like Albert Einstein, Ramanujan, Tesla and all, They are born with that capacity. It's not that they practiced and did it. They are born with that kind of a capacity, maybe because they did this kind of practices in the previous birth. Possibility.
Means
so for
the
us,
practice
for
that
us
you
now,
could recommend to awaken the third eye is?
yes,
Meditation.
by practice you can do that. And if you really practice it, you will know that there are many information which is coming to you which are not normally acquired by you. When you meditate, you get this experience. Many information, many things, many revelations that come when you meditate, which you don't normally think. And for example, I'll tell you, you are asking me questions. I'm not thinking about it. Okay, it comes. This is possible when you are in a meditative mood. You are in a meditative mood, so these things are coming from the field into you, and you are just saying it.
Thank you.
How can astrology and other similar studies read the plans or foretell the destiny of human beings?
In my second episode, I was telling what is happening to the spirits in the spirit world. When they finish their learning and disciplinary procedure and things there in the spirit world, they are about to come back to the earth for their further progress. And they are actually given a choice to select a birth. And they, in fact, if you remember, I was telling you about the giant screen which the elevated souls show these trainees souls. So they can see various births and they can select also. I can select, I want this birth in my next chance. I want this body in my next chance, like that. So if anybody can get again an access to that information, you can predict it. It's again getting a connection to the quantum field. Because all this information is there. It is already there, all this information, because it is an infinite field of information. So anything that you think about as information, it is there. Without the information being there, you will not get it here.
So that is how the plans of the soul and destiny, it's actually all connected to the quantum field to actually access and take that information.
Yes. You get an access and then you are able to predict it.
Palm leaf manuscript, Nadi Astrology, is an ancient system in India where lives of people have been documented 3,000 years ago by a great saint or rishi. These manuscripts have recorded data like names, spouse, children, parentage, and many other facts of a person living in the present. What is your perception of these studies in relation to the destiny of all of us, if all these are already fixed in the past?
Yeah, it is actually not, it is fixed, as I said, it is fixed by the soul. I'm going to take this birth in my future birth. So it is already fixed by the soul, number one. Number two, if they get an access to that particular person's selection, he can predict it. But if you have really watched these manuscripts and all, they are not predicting everybody's life. There are instances when you go and ask for this, they will simply say that your manuscript is not here. It is not that everybody going there will get their future. Only for certain souls, which means he has got a limited access to certain information, whoever has done it. Number one. Number two, this is actually 3,000 years of manuscripts which they have kept there for this evaluation process. And there also again the time. It will be a very short time there. When they go and search for these details, this data there, probably they would have collected 2 days or 3 days data there, but it is 3,000 years here. The time zone difference between Earth and the higher planes, which I was again explaining in the episode number 1. The Brahmin died within 8 days the Brahmin has died, but the king was living for 60 years. So 60 years of the king was only 8 days of the Brahmin or in the village. So these are all illusions. The time, everything is all illusion only. So when you go there and collect these data for 3 days, 4 days, that is tantamount to the data of 3,000 years here. Because this is the vibration of the earth itself is very slow. The vibration at the source is infinite. When it comes to energy level, the vibration is reduced a bit. When it comes to material world, it is very slow. The matter is very slow and dense. The earthly plane is like that. Even in in this person and all, if you account, it is there. It is written. The vibration here in this earthly plane is very, very slow. So it takes a lot of time for us to transform. It takes a lot of time for us to change. Whereas at the source, we say that it is nothingness. But that nothingness is infinite speed. It is like that. There is a very famous sentence by our guide. He says, the superactive center of any activity is inactive. Can you decipher what it is? The superactive center of any activity is inactive.
No, I don't get it. I didn't get it. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, you have to get elaborate, otherwise you won't understand.
Yes, please.
The superactive center, meaning that the center is superactive. Okay, that part of the sentence. Superactive center of any activity is inactive. And the right explanation is, if you play with the top, you throw it with high speed, when it is with that high speed, it will look like as if it is in standstill condition. You will not even see the movement. Okay, it will be like that, standing like, but rotating at very high speed. Only when the speed comes down, the Big Bang happens, the wobbling and all happens.
Yep.
The whole universe is like that. The source, the space, the absolute is spinning at infinite speed, and that is why we feel that it is nothingness. So when that high speed, when it comes down a bit, it becomes energy. And energy is also having very high speed compared to our slow speed of the earth. When it still comes down to matter and earthly planes and all, it is very, very slow. So when it is very slow, you don't have a touch of reality there. It's almost like, ignorance. You are going very dormant as far as earthly plane is concerned. Your life, your attitudes, everything is in a very dormant way. A lot of laziness, lot of lack of understanding. All these things are there. And with all these things, you go in the wrong direction also on top of it. Which means you are far away from reality. You are far away from the actual consciousness that you are supposed to have. Naturally, we will have miseries and sufferings in life. Mind is not settled. The mind is settled, it will be like the source, rotating at very high speed, but looking like inactive.
So we don't have that capability yet. We haven't developed that capability to actually pick up that high speed. So we only can, like how our eyes can actually just pick up when it's on the slow motion, right? We can't really see that when it's such a high speed. So if I understand correctly, we haven't developed ourselves to pick up that speed that is happening in the reality.
Yes, that's right. So actually, when you meditate again, you are nearing that speed. When you meditate, you are slowly going in that direction, acquiring the speed, improving your speed slowly. And then you start seeing the reality a little bit. And if you are actually meditating, you will have these experiences because you start realizing, seeing, experiencing things which you have never seen, which you have never experienced earlier. The quietness, the silence that you feel inside. Actually, you are actually forgetting your physical body when you meditate. When you forget your physical body, you are away from your sense organs. When you are away from sense organs, you don't see any separation, you see only unity. So like that, our travel takes us to the destination, And final thing is actually stillness and nothingness.
So if I understand you correctly, Somakumar, are we saying that even if it is fixed in the past, with meditation we can change our destiny?
Yes, of course. See, the thing is, I think, the thing is, you have been given certain faculties when you come back from there, for taking your next birth. And the things that you have with you is more than enough for your one birth. Your energy that is given from there, the skills that is actually given to you. These are all in abundance. Nature is actually giving you in abundance everything. Cells, they say that even the sperms and all, it is in millions. Even in nature, the birds, seeds of the tree, all these things are actually given in millions. You don't need that such things, that in that quantities. But it is given like that. But we misuse it. We don't use it properly.
Why is it given in millions?
Because nature takes a chance. It knows that all these things may not be used in the proper way. Even if it is going in waste, its purpose should be served. The nature's purpose should be served. That is how it gives in abundance everything.
Mother Nature is very giving, yeah?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. And actually, this is my favorite question of all.
Okay.
There is a thin line for understanding the difference between souls, spirits, and ghosts. Please explain to us the difference amongst these three.
Is
The
the
soul
ghost your favorite?
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh, that is why it is favorite for you. Okay. Yeah. When the soul is in your body, in your physical body, it's a soul. When it is out of your body, it's a spirit. When it is out of your body, but it cannot reach the spirit world and it cannot come back to your physical body also, it's a ghost.
Okay. So, have you experienced or seen a ghost in your life?
No, I have not seen.
Not even once?
Not even once.
Okay.
Ghost I have not seen. Yeah.
Do you know anyone in the system that you're talking about, Heartfulness? Do they have any experiences such as that?
Yes, yes. Even our guides have explained such situations where they have seen ghosts and all. But even then, what they say is you don't have to be scared of them. They are, especially ghosts, they are actually coming to you to get something from you. And their explanation is very beautiful, and you will not have fear of ghosts once you hear this explanation. They used to tell that, these ghosts and spirits, they are like children. They don't harm you, but they will play pranks with you. Pull your sari or all kind of see they will do. They can do that. But what they want really is, because you cannot give chocolates or biscuits to them. They don't have a physical body. So what they want is something to boost up their evolution. And that is actually given in the heartfulness system. It is transmission. There is a beautiful thing that is given by the guides to the practicants. What they do is they actually connect you with the vibration of the source. They are capable of doing it. So what happens is when you are connected with that kind of a vibration of the source itself, you get familiarized with that vibration. Till that time, you don't know what kind of, see this, especially this inactivity at the center. You don't know what it is until and unless you experience it. So what they do is they give you those vibrations which are existing at the source itself and put it inside you. So that gradually when you meditate, slowly when you get away from your worldly attractions and worldly disturbances, you also become silent inside you and you start hearing this tune of the transmission and slowly you are able to absorb it. And
So
that
is there good ghosts and bad ghosts? Is there such thing? Some people say that there's good ghosts and bad ghosts.
I mean, it is there when they attack you, when they disturb you, they are bad. Okay. When they give you certain benefits, they are good. Okay. So they are actually, normally they are spirits. Spirits help us. Ghosts actually, they want certain things and they can be, as I told you, cranky also. They can disturb you also.
But we can pray for them, for their...
Definitely. That's what they need. That's what they need. That's what they need.
Vivi, can I ask you a question since this is your favorite question? Have you seen a ghost?
Well,
maybe now.
Because since it's your favorite.
Yeah, I love ghost stories. So yeah, I'm always seeing all those horror movies. But apart from that, yeah, I did have some personal experiences as well. But I seen them like in shadows or something like that. But you'll get that feel inside, right? That you're not alone at that point, and you know. But yeah, I'll save it for another day.
Yeah, but it is there in normal modern news also. There are certain haunted houses, and they experience that. Famous ones, there is a village, that island. It is haunted. They say that people cannot, and it's a tourist spot, but nobody is allowed to stay in that island after 6 o'clock in the evening. And anybody who has tried to stay there after 6 o'clock, they didn't return.
When you say this, right, what is the significance of certain timings of the day and ghosts to come out?
Maybe, they because of their particular level of existence, they are allowed to do only like that. For example, we have our own timings. We don't venture out in the dead of the night for any activity, isn't it? Because it is not. Yeah, but there are animals, there are birds. They use that time only. They don't come during the daytime because their even organs are set like that. They can see in the darkness. They cannot see when the light is there. So there may be some situations like that for them, some restrictions.
So maybe that is the conducive time for the ghosts to come out.
Maybe correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We will move on to the next question. There are psychics who claim to have developed a channel whereby they are able to communicate with souls and departed ones. Is this a myth or truth?
It is truth. You can develop that skill because again, in the first episode, I was telling you about the person who died and who was actually like a cloud on top, and he was trying to communicate with his relations. Okay, he was trying, but they know only the language of vibration. We know only the language of spoken language, That's the problem. So if we develop our skills, if we sharpen our mind and heart, when we start recognizing the language of vibration, we can communicate.
Please illustrate this with some examples to better understand this phenomena.
Say, for example, the case of husband and wife. Initially, when they got married, you have to use the spoken language for understanding anything that they want to communicate. But during the course of years, what happens is you don't need verbal communication at all. When the husband or the wife knows what husband needs at this particular time, just look at the person and she picks up what is inside you. When you are that much intimate, when you live with your heart, when you start living with your heart, you start learning the language of vibration. When you start living with your brain, you need the spoken language.
In case some soul or departed one would like to communicate with us, how would we be able to decipher and understand the message?
Connect your heart with that soul, you will understand. Again, the same thing. Use your heart if it is a vibration language. Use your brain, intellect for your spoken language.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we must be sensitive then.
Yeah.
Always.
Correct.
Develop that sensitivity.
Yeah.
Correct.
There are people who are able to manifest objects such as a diamond ring, idols, and money out of thin air. How does quantum science explain this phenomenon?
I explained the qualities of the quantum field. It is a field of immense potentialities. It can make anything because it has created a whole universe with 1 centimeter cube. So it can manifest anything. But the thing is, you must again speak the language of the field. And the demand is, if you demand something in the past or in the future, it will not be able to produce it. So what they do is they imagine that it is with me already. This diamond ring is with me already, and with that electromagnetic vibration of the field, when they think like that, it happens. So it is there already. The whole potentiality is there already. Anything that you imagine, you can, and that is how actually we create this world itself. The electromagnetic frequency, the electromagnetic wave is all around us, and you put your intention towards it, and you freeze it, and the thing happens before you. But here what happens is, you have got certain generalities, certain restrictions inside you. You don't think beyond your understanding, beyond your faith. You cannot think anything beyond your faith. That is why it is not possible for you. So you know very well that I can use this building material and I can construct a house, and it happens. You know very well that I can take water from the well and take it there. But you cannot think that I can bring water from the air and carry it there, because that faith is not there. So the connection is not there with the field. There are people who can even think with total faith and connect to the field and get this thing happen.
Interesting. So Vivi, like, you want a diamond ring?
No, what I'm just thinking, yeah, of course I'd love that, but I'm just thinking, because you see the reality which is in the quantum field and everything else is Maya or illusory, right? Illusion. So these people are able to create illusion out of a illusory world.
Yes, that's possible. And there is actually, according to the previous question, there is a beautiful book, Biology of Faith, by Bruce Lipton. What he says is, and he actually proves it with experiments and all, your whole body exists based on your faith. And again, he tells that faith is connecting you to the quantum field. So if you think that, every moment, every day, you think that I am healthy, and that thought is rooted in you, and you don't think that, you don't request anybody, God or anybody, please may protect me or please keep me healthy, then it's not there. But you think that I'm healthy, it happens. He says that faith will actually influence your biology, physical thing itself, through the quantum field. And he goes to the extent telling that even the medicines that you give, he says every medicine is a placebo. His contention is that every medicine is a placebo, because it is not the medicine which is curing you. It is your faith on the medicine. When you take that medicine, you feel that it is I'm cured, and the quantum field sets in. Your vibration is matching the vibration of the quantum field. The potentiality of health is there in the field.
This is an interesting subject. Okay, since now we are running out of time, we will go for another 2 more questions. So okay. The second last question. Scientists say that a lot of personal information about an individual can be derived from the DNA. What is the relationship between the DNA and the soul?
It is like a girl who got married. The parents, they send with her so many things, what is required, at least for the initial few months, provisions, utensils, maybe furniture, maybe even a house or whatever it is. They send the girl like that. Similar way, when we are actually coming from the soul state, from the spirit world to this world, the space or the God or the elevated spirit sends you with so many things for your life. DNA is one of them. So there are so many potentialities in your DNA system. You can be, there are so many things, which you can use, and you can change your life, modify your life, enhance the quality of your life. And they say scientifically that only 1% of your DNA stock you are using in your life. The remaining DNA is still with you. They call it as junk DNAs. And they say that it's like a library. The other DNA is like a library. You can go inside the library and select the book you want and improve your life. Like that, you can go into this DNA stock, select what you want, and you can even become a genius. It is there. But normally we don't think about these things, whatever is available, we utilize it and enjoy life and run away. Okay. So DNA has got potentiality with it for the soul to use for its birth and evolution.
We are like a smart app, but we have that potential of being a smart app, but we haven't upgraded our CPU.
Correct. That's a correct explanation. It's like that.
Okay. So the last question for the day, it is said that by meditation, the soul's covering and the genetic pattern can be changed. What is your take on this?
When you meditate, most of the impurities that you have acquired in the previous birth as well as in this birth can be evacuated, can be thrown away. When you become more and more pure, your evolution starts there. Your life quality improves. So you can change by meditation, because what is controlling your life at the moment? Again, the first episode I told you, until and unless you search for your soul, you are only a mechanized toy. You have no control on your life. The spring-loaded thing or the electronic the thing that loaded on you is leading your life. You have no control. You don't understand also what is happening to your life. But when you meditate, what happens is this mechanical thing is removed from you. You become really alive when you meditate. And you know what you want to do. And you are aware of your life. You are conscious of your life. So that change can happen when you meditate. And actually, when you meditate, there are so many other advantages. It's not only this. See, for example, for a healthy body, for a healthy life, meditation helps you in a big way. Because what happens is, when you meditate again from the normal subconscious level or conscious level, you become slowly super conscious. When you become super conscious, your vibratory level will match the vibratory level of the quantum field. Quantum field is filled with energy. So when you actually a disease or an ailment, they say scientifically that it is the blockade of energy flow that makes you sick. When the energy flow is smooth in your body, you are always healthy. Now you have a storage of energy before you, and you have got an access also by meditating. Just invite that energy for a minute. You are becoming healthy. All things are cleared. So there is a big advantage health-wise when you meditate. And again, the mind gets settled. Normally what happens is, when the mind is not settled, as even not only in dreams, even during daytime, these impressions are trying to go out of the soul and it disturbs you. You are never settled in your mind. And when you are not settled, what happens is your whole system is disturbed. That is how we become sick. When the whole balance is lost, the flow is interrupted, energy flow is interrupted, and otherwise it goes in the wrong routes. And all these things actually have a compounding effect on your body. And we slowly become sick, mentally as well as physically. So when you get balanced by meditation, whatever happens around you, whatever happens inside you, you are keeping your health properly secured, protected, and you are always happy. The another thing is, when you meditate, you can always be in a happy mood. Even if certain things happen in your life which can disrupt your happiness, meditation helps you to bring it back to balance and stillness. In stillness, you get maximum happiness. Just imagine for a moment, if you can keep your mind still, just watch it and see how much happiness it gives you. Just for a minute, if you keep your mind still, see the kind of happiness that you can generate inside you. So actually, meditation is life. Real life is actually in meditation only. And the advantage is, if you do it regularly based on certain systems devised by masters of the field, what happens is that becomes your routine in life. Even during other hours, your mind will be in a meditative state. Meaning, lot of energy, lot of happiness, lot of balance, lot of clarity. because you are not seeing with your senses then. You are seeing with your inner eye, which is connected to the field again. Can we go for the, as I promised, the hands-on session? Or
Yes.
do you have any more? Yeah? Okay. So, like last time, I'll be giving commands for the relaxation. Then at the end of that, I'll ask you to continue meditation, go into meditation. What you have to do is nothing else but avoid thoughts, ignore thoughts. When you ignore thoughts, you disconnect yourself from the external world and you are into your quantum world field when you meditate. Just watch what is happening. Focus your attention onto the heart, where just now I explained, that chip of space is there. Focus your attention there and enjoy what is happening to you. When I say that's all, you can open your eyes. So, sit comfortably and close your eyes very softly and very gently. Imagine that the energy of Mother Earth is entering through your feet and is helping you relax your toes and feet. Slowly allow this energy to move upward through your ankles and lower legs. While it is moving upward, try to feel how the cells, the muscles, the bones it covers are relaxing. The calf muscles are relaxed. Let this energy flow upwards to your knees. Let it imbue that. Let that energy move into your thigh muscles. Feel the lightness in relaxation. The areas touching the chair or the ground, including your back, think that they are getting relaxed. Observe how this energy moving in the abdominal area and chest area is helping us relax. Let the energy move into your shoulders. See how they are melting away, becoming lighter. Let this energy move to your biceps, elbows, forearms, your wrists, your palms and fingers, thumbs, all getting relaxed. Imagine the body between your shoulders and toes is completely relaxed. Feel this relaxation in your neck muscles, your facial muscles, forehead, and your earlobes. See how gently and softly your eyes, crown of your head, all getting relaxed. From the crown of your head, top of the head, till your toes, top to toe, feel this complete relaxation. Having done this, gently bring your attention towards the heart and incorporate this practice of meditation on the heart. That there is divine light present in the heart and I am meditating on it. The energy that is pulling me inward within my heart. Remain still and quiet and slowly become absorbed in yourself. Continue meditation.
Thank you, Somakumar. It has once again been a privilege and honor. There was just so much content shared today, and it really requires some thought process individually for myself, and also, if I might say, for our viewers to reflect on. A key takeaway message that I would also like to add here. Science attempts to explore the ocean of consciousness and soul from the outside, divorced from the subjective experience, therefore measurable without personal bliss. But if we are able to connect ourselves to the quantum field through meditation, then we are able to experience that space-time geometry vibration, which is observed through science in the world, is then reproduced inside our system. A personal invitation to all, let's meditate. And also some useful information on how to connect with heartfulness. Please do visit heartfulness.org.
With this, we come to the conclusion of Secrets of the Soul series. We once again thank Somakumar for his insights of the soul and quantum science. Thank you everyone for joining us. This will be our last episode for this season. Please do tune in to our Facebook page, Heartfulness Malaysia, where we will update the information about our upcoming live cast in the next season.
With this, I leave you with a poem from the great poet Rumi, who once said, I have lived on the lip of insanity, wanting to know reasons, knocking on a door. It opens. I have been knocking from the inside. Stay safe and good night.
Good night.
Good night.